They told me to fetch more wine during my own damn birthday dinner, and my assistant called. Loud and clear on speaker, she said, "I have Softwave's CEO on the line." The room froze. That CEO was me, and the people mocking me just 5 minutes earlier, they were about to swallow every smug word they ever spat. My name's Rhea Langdon. I'm 29, and I'm the black stain on the perfect white canvas that is the Langdon family of Newport. Rhode Island. To them, I was the weird one. The disappointment. The mistake. They had plans for me the moment I was born. Daughter of Senator Charles Langdon and his pristine second wife, Evelyn. My half-siblings attended Yale, Columbia, and Duke. One's an attorney. One's a surgeon. One's married to a governor's son. And me? I was the homeschooled introvert with no social polish and a brain for machines. I built my first website at 12, wrote my first neural net at 16. I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't want to. I enrolled in a state tech school no one in my family had heard of. I paid my own tuition. I worked in basements and dingy shared offices. I coded while others sipped cocktails on yachts, and I never told them what I was building. Tonight was supposed to be low-key. That's what my dad said when he invited me. Just close family, no politics, just dinner. Translation: a parade of Ivy League success stories, champagne, and me. The punchline in last season's shoes. I almost didn't go, but something told me to show up. Maybe I wanted the free food. Maybe I wanted the closure. Or maybe I wanted revenge. The Langdon estate was as artificial as the family itself. Pristine hedges, cold marble, gleaming floors no one walked on barefoot. I walked in wearing a $40 dress from a thrift store in Providence. My Tesla was parked 2 streets away. I arrived on foot. They greeted me with air kisses and stiff smiles. My dad's jaw clenched when he saw my outfit. Evelyn made a noise like someone sniffing spoiled milk. And my older half-sister, Paige, she gave me a look that said, "Oh, how brave of you to still exist." The pre-dinner drinks were served. In the library, an actual library, books no one had read. Bourbon for the men, Sauvignon Blanc for the women. Gendered pours, like we were living in 1953. They toasted to Harrison's research grant from Johns Hopkins. Then to Paige's husband landing a spot on some congressional advisory board. No one toasted me. Not that I expected it. But what I didn't expect was for Paige to say, "Dad, you should really just cut her off already. She's clearly not doing anything productive. It's actually cruel to keep supporting that fantasy." Everyone chuckled. Even Evelyn. That's when my phone buzzed. I glanced at it. It was Abby, my assistant. The caller ID flashed. Emergency protocol. I stepped into the corner and answered. "What's wrong?" I whispered. Abby's voice boomed. I hadn't noticed the Bluetooth speaker still linked from earlier. My phone broadcasted her voice to the entire room. "Rhea, Softwave just closed with Bain. 40 million confirmed. Press wants a quote from US CEO ASAP." I froze. So did everyone. Else. Silence. The kind that makes your skin prickle. Paige blinked. Harrison turned pale. My father leaned forward like he misheard. "CEO, I ended the call." The silence lingered. Then I turned, looked straight at Evelyn, and smiled. "Sorry. What was that about cutting me off?" My dad's scotch clinked softly in his glass. The only sound in the room. I slowly walked back to my seat, feeling the weight of their stunned eyes. Then I said, just loud enough, "Did you want a demo of the product? Or just a copy of Forbes next week?" "You're the CEO," Paige finally croaked, as if the word physically hurt to say. I smiled again, calmly this time. "No," I said, taking a sip of my wine. "I'm the founder, too." You could have heard Evelyn's diamond bracelet hit the floor if it had slipped. Everyone was silent. No one moved. They just stared like they'd all seen a ghost in heels, and clearance rack linen. My father cleared his throat. I thought you worked at a startup, some small app company." "I do," I said. "It's just no longer small. And it's not some app. Softwave is the largest AI-driven diagnostics platform in the U.S. right now. Still silence, no clapping. No congratulations. Just recalculating faces. Harrison, always the competitor, snapped first. "Well, how big can it really be? I've never even heard of Softwave. You ever heard of Simtech?" I asked. He nodded. "Of course. They do surgical robotics. They're our client. We license to them. Boom. Evelyn blinked rapidly. Paige's lips parted. My dad sat back in his chair, arms crossed, evaluating. Then came the deflection. This is surprising, he said carefully. Why wouldn't you share something like this? Why hide it from the family? Oh, that part I stood. Walked slowly around the dining table, past the portraits of Langdons on the wall. Generations of well-groomed smugness. Then I stopped behind my father's chair. You called me a leech, Dad. Last year. At this same table. Said I was draining the family dry with my failed coding hobby. Remember? He stiffened. You told everyone at your fundraiser that I was between things. That I'd never finish anything. Paige snorted. You could have corrected him. I turned. When, Paige? When would I have spoken? Between your monologue about Harvard Law and Evelyn's rant about my unladylike posture? She shut her mouth. I wasn't done. I've spent the last 5 years working 80-hour weeks building something from the ground up. No investors, no connections, no Langdon handouts. I chose not to tell you. Because I didn't want this exact moment to be about you claiming credit. Evelyn stood, hands trembling. That's not fair. We were just worried about you. No, you were embarrassed by me. The words hit like a slap. And I didn't stop. You flaunt Harrison's research, Paige's politics, Oliver's degrees. But me? I'm the one you tell the guests is just creative. My voice cracked slightly. But I held the line. For years, I swallowed it. The snide jokes, the pity, the condescension. But not anymore. And then, as if on cue, ding, my phone buzzed. A calendar alert popped up. Softwave investor briefing live in 10 minutes. My assistant's text followed. Need you for the video call. Camera on, CNN panel is watching. I have to step out, I said, walking toward the door. CNN wants me on a panel about tech and medicine. Hope you all enjoy dessert. You're really going? My father asked, almost stunned. I am. This isn't a show. It's my life, and you've never bothered to watch. I opened the front door. The night air hit my face like freedom. Rhea, wait, my father called after me. Let's talk. Maybe maybe over lunch this week? I turned to him. Sure, we can talk, but I charge $1,000 an hour for consulting now. I'll send your office the invoice. Then I stepped into the night and shut the door behind me. I slammed the car door shut and exhaled so hard it fogged the windshield. My heart was still thundering. Not from nerves, but from release. I hadn't planned that speech. I didn't rehearse a damn thing, but it spilled out of me like gasoline and I lit the match without blinking. I pulled out my laptop, balanced it on the steering wheel, and joined the call. The panel had already started. CNN Business. 3 founders, 1 moderator, and me slightly windblown, emotional, still tasting the bitterness of lobster bisque and betrayal. Joining us now is Rhea Langdon, founder and CEO of Softwave Diagnostics. The host announced. Rhea, congrats on the Bain deal. Incredible numbers for such a young company. Thank you, I replied, calming my voice. We're just getting started. The segment was only 12 minutes. But those 12 minutes changed my life. We spoke about medical inequality, waitlist deaths, how AI could triage patients and cut response times by 70%. I mentioned our new pilot with the VA hospitals, our clinical outcomes, our 92% satisfaction rate across 32 states. When it ended, my phone exploded, 23 texts, 8 missed calls, 2 voicemails, and 1 email. From my father's subject, lunch tomorrow? I laughed out loud in my car. Like a maniac. The man, who once told me nurses and coders are support roles, not leaders, now wanted to schedule lunch like I was a Fortune 500 exec he had to impress. Which technically, I was, but the email wasn't a real bomb. The real detonation came from a different number. Unfamiliar. Just a simple text. Hi Rhea, we haven't spoken in a while, but I saw the news. I think you should know. Your family's been using your name for months to attract donors to Senator Langdon's campaign. They've claimed Softwave is a family innovation. Want screenshots? I blinked. What? I replied immediately. Who is this? Danielle Mercatho, former staffer. I quit when they started crossing lines. I kept receipts. You want them? I pulled over, heart racing. 3 minutes later, the screenshots arrived. Photos of my father at fundraisers, my face on a projector behind him, my logo next to his campaign slogan, Innovation, Legacy, Langdon. My bio rewritten to include a proud product of the Langdon vision. Quotes I never said, claims I never made. An entire campaign narrative built around me, without a single word of permission, and they'd done it before I revealed my success. They'd gambled on my silence, cashed in on my name before they ever congratulated me. I almost threw my phone through the windshield, but I didn't. I forwarded the screenshots to Abby. Put this in a secure folder. Save copies. Do not engage unless I say. Then I called my lawyer. Mark, I need a cease and desist. Tomorrow. Political misrepresentation. Use of likeness. All of it. Done, he said. Want to go public? No, I replied coldly. Not yet. Let them sweat first. Because I had a better idea. Let them find out the hard way when every major donor gets a legal notice. Let them scramble for excuses when Softwave's official statement drops. Let them watch their campaign foundation crumble from a storm they built themselves. That night, I didn't sleep. I paced my loft, drank tea, reread the screenshots 100 times. And when the sun came up over the harbor, I opened my laptop and started writing the press release myself. It began with one line. Softwave Diagnostics is not affiliated with any political campaign. Any claims suggesting otherwise are false, unauthorized, and subject to legal action. I hit send and smiled. Let the games begin. The press release dropped at 9:04 by 9:17. It was trending on Twitter by 9:41. My father called me ... 5 times. I didn't answer. Instead, I watched from my sun-drenched kitchen as the digital firestorm spread like gasoline over dry leaves. CNN picked it up first, then Politico, then TechCrunch. Headline screamed, Softwave CEO slams Senator Langdon over false campaign claims. Langdon's daughter disowns political ties amid $40 million tech deal. Family Feud goes public. Billion-dollar CEO issues cease and desist. The best part? I didn't leak a single thing. All I did was tell the truth. But truth, when ignored long enough, hits harder than any lie. By noon, campaign donors were pulling out. One super PAC publicly suspended its support pending clarification. The Langdon name was now radioactive. And my inbox? A glorious parade of Rhea, please call me. From every relative who'd ever ignored my existence. At 12:15 p.m., Abby buzzed in. Your brother's at the office. Like physically. What? Which one? The plastic one. Paige. You mean my sister? Right, sorry. She's the man in the CU. She brought ... a pie. I blinked. Tell her I'm busy until 2047. She said she's not leaving. Of course she did. 10 minutes later, I walked into the conference room and saw her sitting. They're like a suburban wine mom at a book club gone wrong. Hair flawless, makeup swaying, and that fake smile. Trembling at the edges, you dragged my company into politics, Paige. Without asking. Without warning. Why? I didn't know about the fundraiser flyers, okay? That was Dad. He said it was harmless, just name dropping. People do it all the time. I'm not a bumper sticker. She flinched. Look, this is spiraling. He's getting destroyed in the press. He says it's your fault? No, it's his fault. For lying, she stood frustrated. But you could fix it. You could release a second statement, say it was a misunderstanding. I laughed. Loud, harsh. A misunderstanding? Paige, he printed my face next to Langdon Legacy and claimed I was part of his healthcare reform agenda. You are. Part of the family, she snapped. Funny, I shot back. Didn't feel like it last weekend. Remember when he cut me off? Called me a liability? That didn't stop him from monetizing my name. She took a step forward. Then why show? Up to dinner at all? If you hate us so much? My voice dropped low, because I wanted to see if you'd ever see me. We stared at each other, just two sisters raised in the same house, but living in different universes. Then she cracked. I didn't know what you built, she whispered. I didn't even want to know, because it made me feel small, like everything I did was ... expected. But you? You became important without permission. I wasn't ready for that honesty. It hit like a sucker punch. And for a moment, I softened. Then why keep pushing me out? I asked. Because if Dad accepted you, then he'd have to admit the rest of us just followed the path he laid. And that maybe. You were the one who actually chose something real. I stared at her. Maybe, for the first time in our lives, she was telling the truth. But honesty doesn't erase damage, and forgiveness isn't free. You want to fix this? I asked. She nodded. Then stand next to me at the next press conference. Tell the media I never endorsed this campaign. Say it publicly. She hesitated. Then slowly nodded. Double quotes. Okay, I'll do it. We shook hands. No hug. No tears. Just a mutual understanding. The house we were raised in was burning, and I wasn't leaving without torching the damn wallpaper. The Langdon estate was surrounded by reporters. Cameras, mics, questions like bullets. Senator Langdon, did your daughter authorize the campaign branding? Is Softwave supporting your re-election? My father's face was pale. Not the usual tight-lipped, calculating expression. This was different. This was fear. At 3 p.m. sharp, I arrived in a black car, tinted windows, security at my side. The press swarmed. Flashes exploded, but I didn't flinch. I didn't smile. I walked up. Those marble steps like I owned them, because I did. Inside, the drawing room was chaos. Paige stood by the fireplace in a cream pantsuit, already micked. Her hands shook slightly. My mother sat stiffly on the settee, martini untouched, lips tight, and my father. Pace. This is treason, he snapped the moment I entered. No, I said calmly. This is consequence. He turned, fast. You've destroyed everything. Donors are fleeing. They want answers now. Do you understand the damage you've done? I didn't do anything. You lied. My voice was flat, measured, but inside, I was shaking. My chest burned. You took my work, I said, stepping closer. You twisted it, branded it, sold it as your vision. It is my legacy. He shouted. Everything you are, your education, your blood, it came from me. Really? I asked. Was it you who coded through the night? Who ate ramen for 2 years just to afford cloud servers? Who begged investors to believe in a product they couldn't see? He didn't. Answer. I kept going. You cut me off. Laughed at me. Used my success to prop up your campaign while calling me a disappointment. Evelyn broke in then. Enough. This is a family matter, not a scandal. But it was both. I turned the page. You ready? She nodded, pale, but steady. We stepped. Outside together. Onto the steps. Into the madness. The press surged forward. And Paige, poised, composed, spoke first. I'd like to clarify something. Neither I nor my sister endorsed our father's campaign. Any marketing suggesting otherwise was unauthorized. She looked at me. Her voice faltered. But just for a second. Rhea built her company without help from this family. And what she's done, it's her own, not ours. That was it. No apology. But the truth. And sometimes that's more powerful than sorry. The next day, hell broke loose. Major outlets ran with the footage. Donors pulled out. Public trust cratered. By Friday morning, Senator Charles Langdon's re-election committee officially suspended operations. I got the email at 7:42 a.m. It felt surreal. Just 7 days earlier, I'd been the family joke. The ghost at the dinner table. Now, I was the woman who brought down a dynasty built on control, silence, and perfectly curated lies. That night, I sat in my loft. No laptop. No emails. Just wine, soft jazz, and a heavy silence that finally felt peaceful. Until buzzed out a new email from my father. Subject. Let's talk. I clicked. You've made your point. I hope you're satisfied. You've embarrassed us. Your mother is devastated. I've built a life of service and legacy, and you've tarnished it with your temper. But fine. You win. I hope the headlines were worth it. No apology. No recognition. Just more ego bleeding from a bruised shell of power. I didn't reply. Instead, I hit forward. Sent it to Abby. Save this. Final nail. Add to archive. Then I deleted it because it no longer mattered. That was the moment I knew I didn't need revenge anymore. I'd already won. 1 week later, I stood backstage at the Women in Tech Global Summit. The air smelled like hairspray, espresso, and adrenaline. My name was printed on a glossy banner. Rhea Langdon, founder and CEO, Softwave Diagnostics. The stage lights dimmed. A voice echoed over the speakers. Please welcome the woman Forbes calls healthcare's disruptor-chief single quotes ... Rhea Langdon. Applause erupted, not polite clapping, not social obligation. It was loud, real. I walked out into the light, heart pounding, heels steady, and I told the truth about failing, about being ignored, about building something when no one believed I could, about showing up to family dinners pretending to be small because it was safer than being seen. I looked into the crowd. Hundreds of faces. Young women, mentors, engineers, students. Every one of them with something to prove. I don't stand here today because I was born into a legacy. I said, I'm here because I burned one down and built something better in its place. Silence, then thunderous applause. After the panel, they handed me a Crystal Award. Innovator of the Year. I held it in both hands, stunned for just a moment. Then, I smiled, not because I needed the validation, but because I finally stopped asking for it. Backstage, my phone buzzed again. A photo from Abby Dotted showed a crumpled Langdon campaign banner discarded in a trash bin outside their old HQ. Smeared. By rain, trampled, forgotten. Beneath it, a flyer for the Mitchell Foundation Tech Scholarship, a grant I'd funded anonymously for women in STEM from marginalized communities. The symbolism hit hard. I left the dressing room and walked out into the Boston night. The air was cool. The sky full of stars and possibility . As I stepped into my car, my driver glanced back. You're headed home, ma'am. I paused. No, I said. Stop at Massachusetts General first. The pediatric wing, where I used to volunteer during my undergrad. Now, it's the first hospital Softwave ever partnered with. 10 minutes later, I walked through the quiet halls of the children's unit. The nurses recognized me. Smiles, hugs, gratitude. One little girl, maybe 8, clutched her stuffed dinosaur and asked, Are you the computer lady who makes the doctors faster? I knelt beside her. Yes, I whispered. That's me. She nodded solemnly. That's good, 'cause waiting is scary. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Yes, I said. It is. That moment, it made everything worth it. Not the IPO, not the headlines, not the takedown. This helping someone who didn't care about legacies or campaigns or bloodlines, only whether they'd be okay. The next morning, I sat on my rooftop balcony, coffee in hand, when an envelope arrived. By courier. No name. Just gold embossed initials. CL. My father. Inside, a letter. Rhea, I've thought a lot. About everything. About who you are. I don't understand your world. But I'm starting to understand I don't need to. You were never a mistake. You were just too big for the mold I tried to force you into. I'm sorry. Proud doesn't begin to cover it. Dad. I stared at the paper, my throat tight. My chest a war zone of pain and peace. Then I folded it up. Slid it into a drawer. Maybe I'd respond. Maybe. I wouldn't. Because closure wasn't in his words. Closure was knowing that I was no longer looking backward. Later that day, I got another call. This one? Unexpected. Rhea, the voice said, warm and smooth. It's the White House. The president would like you to join the National Healthcare Innovation Council. I blinked, laughed once, soft, disbelieving. Then I said, tell her I'll clear my schedule. As I hung up, I looked out over the skyline. The Langdon name may have burned, but I have forged something brighter in the fire. My name, my legacy, my empire. All built on the ashes of being underestimated. That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought, or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.